Wait, notify, and the notify all is a way to how to synchronize work for two or more threads in Java. So let's take this very simple example. So let's say that we have a message which has two fields, right? Content and empty. And we have two threads. One is producing message, which means that the one thread is that writing, one thread is that setting some value to this content, and another thread is consumer, so which is that thread is reading from this content. So you can imagine it as a queue. So let's say that we have a queue, and the one thread is adding message to the queue, and another thread is reading from that queue. This one is the first thread is that the producer, right? It produces message, and another one consumes the message. So what we have in this method, right? Put, that we are setting value for the content. So it's used by the producer thread. So what we have here, so what we do as a first step, we are checking that besides the content, also we have one more field, which is the empty. So we are checking that if the queue is empty, which means that if the content is empty until if it's not empty, then we are setting a value for it and the setting empty to false, right? But if it's not empty, then in that case, what we do is we are waiting, right? So we are just printing producer is waiting, and we are calling a wait. We are calling a wait method. So wait method is in the object class. So every class by default extends from the object class implicitly. So we are calling wait. So which means that thread, whatever thread is calling this put method, it will wait. It will wait until the message is consumed by the consumer. So after it's consumed by consumer, again we are setting the message here, and we are setting the value to false, which means that it's not empty anymore. Consumer can start to consume. And after that, we are producing whatever message that we have just produced, right? Whatever message we have just set. And the next field, what we do is we are calling a notify all. So what notify all does is notify all wakes up all the threads that have been put to sleep. So for example, right, when we're going to understand more when we go to the take, which is the producer, which is the method that is called by the producer. So basically the idea is that we are, if any thread is put to sleep, so we are notifying those threads to wake up and to do the work on their side. So the another one, this is all for consumer, right? So when we are consuming messages and we are putting the messages into the queue, or in our case we are just setting value in the string. So another method that is called by the consumer is take. So here we are doing exactly the same, but instead of producing, here we are consuming. So here what we do is we are checking that if message is empty, if message is empty, which means that there is nothing to consume, right? The consumer is waiting. So again, we are calling a wait. So we are calling a wait here, and after producer has produced the message and set that empty to false. So what we do is we are going here and we are setting to empty to true, and we are consuming that message, and we are printing that. And after that, again, we are notifying the producer that okay, the message is consumed, so now you can proceed your work. And we are returning here, so whatever the content is here, right? So again, why we are doing that, right? Wait and notify is just a way of synchronizing work between producer and the consumer. Let's say that we may have one producer and many consumers. That's why we are calling here notify all, or vice versa, right? We may have one or we may have many producers and many consumers. That's why we are calling notify all. We have also notify method that is available, which wakes up one thread at the time. So again, we have seen that in the previous episode, right? So what happens is when we are starting our threads, so when we are here, right, we have added the synchronize keyword. So we have added synchronize keyword. So what it does is, so by default, our thread is our main thread. In our case it's wait and notify demo thread. So what happens here is that we are creating one, so monitor is created, or log, and which has the several fields, right? One of them is the owner thread, the thread that is currently owns the has the key to the log. Another one is the entry queue, and the next one is the wait set. So here we are adding threads that has been put to sleep or has been put to the wait mode. So when we are calling the notifyAll, notifyAll releases all the threads that are in the wait mode here. So that's it. And in our main thread, so what we do, right? We are creating a new message, and we are creating two threads. One is the producer, which produces the messages, which produces messages one by one. Hello from wait notify demo. And then it puts the messages, sends the messages to the, adds the messages to the queue, or we're just calling the message and putting the message. So we're producing the message, and after that we put that to sleep. We put the thread to sleep for consumer to wake up. And in the next one, so what we do is we are in the consumer, we are taking the message, and again we are putting that to sleep for the producer to wake up. So let's run it and see that what's going to happen. Then we are starting producer and consumer, our two threads, right? So we are starting two threads, as you can see here. So what happens is first producer produces hello, then and goes to wait mode, right? So goes to wait mode, and then consumer consumes the message. Producer produces the message, then goes to wait mode, and then notifies the all other threads that are in wait. So then consumer wakes up, consumer consumes the message, and then consumer wakes up the producer, and the producer again produces the message, produces the message, goes in the wait mode, and wakes up the consumer, and so that goes in circle until we have produced and consumed all the messages.